lives eat the first part of our recording. So we want to make sure that even the hello is present and is recorded. So hello everyone on another block chat. This block chat is special because we have with us Ardit from Dua, and you've heard about Dua probably prior to the partnership that we've started at Blocksquare with Dua, and maybe you haven't. If you haven't, today we'll cover everything the partnership. Ardit will tell us more about Dua, what is Dua doing, and it's doing too many interesting stuff as we speak. And what does the future have for it? Why is this partnership valuable for all Dua users and for all Blocksquare community, for the DAO and beyond? Ardit, how are you? And definitely Denis, how are you? So it's a block chat with Denis, Petrovcic, Makram, Hani, and today it's Ardit as well. Ardit, tell us more, please, about Dua.
Hey guys, thank you very much. Really a pleasure to be here in this blog chat. I've been following you. This is a great opportunity to present the partnership with you guys, and generally talk about Dua and how we can help both our communities to achieve their goals. I'll do a short intro of myself. My name is Ardit. I come originally from Albania. My background has been in management consulting for the banking sector. I've spent a few years also in fintech, and 1.5 years ago I joined Dua to lead the payment and crypto project there. What is Dua? Dua started. The vision for Dua was held by Valon, our founder and CEO, since 10 years, but it became a reality just 2 years ago. We launched our app in 2020 with a vision to connect globally fragmented communities all around the world. We are actually still in stealth mode. We started with the first Albanian community, since it came for us naturally to start there, given also the heritage of our team from Albanian-speaking countries. And as we speak, we have reached a point where we can say we have catched a big chunk of the Albanian market. We're thinking about 1.3 million installs and over 500,000 registered users. And just a couple of months ago, we announced a really interesting project, which is our utility token and the blockchain projects that will elevate our community and give them the right tools to have access to financial services, services that were not so present in this community. But I'll talk with you more about this. Happy to be here, and yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Ardit, for the introduction of Dua. Um, Dennis, we've talked about this introduction. Now, Ardit will definitely tell us more about the recent acquisition that Dua have done, and we'll talk more about the partnership. However, from a Blocksquare point of view, why this partnership? We've briefly talked about it before. Why this partnership, and how does it help our community, our DAO, and beyond?
Well, the first touch point on a potential of establishing a partnership with Dua was actually brought to me by Dite, who is also assisting as an advisor to the Dua, and he's heading our DeFi development team. And when he came to me with this kind of idea or suggestion, I was basically I was like, why would we do it, right? Just honestly, I was like, what's in it for us? Why would they need why would they be interested in what we're doing, etc. Right? But then we started talking about Dua itself. It's a dating app, but it's a community of people that come from a certain culture, right? And they usually live abroad, and they have a hard time meeting other people from that same culture. And then it immediately made sense just by talking about that subject, not even touching real estate. But real estate is something that takes somebody that is living abroad, and somebody, people from a community diaspora back home, right? Real estate is something that is giving them a footing in their original culture or origins of their culture, where they might have some family that they meet maybe every decade, maybe once or twice, maybe not even on a yearly basis, right? But it's something that gives them, that gives them
It connects
A
them.
sense of belonging.
connection and origin, right? And sense of pride as well. And what's more to be proud of, if you're able to kind of co-develop the country that it's your background, where you're able to add value to it by making maybe some minor investments in that in the infrastructure there, in the real estate there, basically everything that's important for a country that's really solid is based on land, right? That's where people live.
So
And
it
if
gets
you're
the
able to
diaspora
develop it,
together. It gets the diaspora together and gives them easier access, even people who are usually so disconnected. It when it allows them this easy access, they will reconnect usually. Yeah.
exactly. That's kind of the idea that at least I see here with this partnership of Dua, being able to create that meaningful connection that comes through putting energy into developing something, into renovating a project, into bringing a new project there, or helping a new residential. It depends, really. It's like it can be used in different ways. We've talked about community projects as well for some time, and I think we're gonna discuss a bit more about it, right, Makram, in our next block chat. But there's many things that can how tokenization of real estate can be used for, and on the other side, you just need a community that is passionate about. And here, I think the passion part is there's definitely a check mark there.
Definitely. I mean, you touched upon the diaspora topic, right? We have seen a lot of dating apps. We do not consider Dua a dating app. We see it as more of an ecosystem where diaspora communities from one side and people that live in the origin countries can create different kinds of relationship, from love, which is the dating part, but we are also extending the app with two other modes, which are Dua Biz and Dua Friends. So adding this business and friendship part to the whole ecosystem. Just to mention a statistic, it is extremely hard to find, let's say, two Albanians to match each other on a traditional dating app like Tinder. On Dua, our focus is exactly at that. We connect the same people from the same background, ethnicity, cultural background, and provide them a platform where they can connect, match, communicate with each other, create friendships, and of course, with our recent project, connect them to a new whole infrastructure, which will help them get services like, for example, investing in real estate deals, which was not imaginable before. There is considerable data and research studies that show that diaspora hold a huge amount of funds, of stocks, of pension funds. And if we find a way to streamline these funds to real estate in their home countries, that means they could contribute directly to the development of their cities, small towns, and generally to the economy. So
So let me
I
here try
really,
to. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead, Ardit. Go
no,
ahead,
no,
please.
it's fine.
My question was just to summarize. So what you're saying and what Dennis is saying is what we're trying to do is we're allowing, and again, Dua is an app that currently serves a community. However, you've just done an acquisition that would serve a bigger community, and at the same time, you're working on um, growing that beyond. You're just at the start of the journey. So hopefully you can serve many communities and many diasporas. Now, if we want to talk about that for a second, what I understand from you today is that what you're saying is that we're connecting people from everywhere in the world with their roots and with people of their community, of their ethnicity, or beyond. Maybe with time it will be proven that somebody who's Albanian will meet somebody who's Swiss on one of the groups. Now, regardless, what you're saying now is that we want to allow them, or this partnership will hopefully facilitate for them, utilizing the network of Dua and the infrastructure of Blocksquare to access real estate in those vincities, localities, communities, areas, or beyond. So, in other words, if you have currently, how many members in total do you have, Ardit?
Both apps, so Dua and Spotted.de, which we acquired recently, have 5 million active users, over 5 million active users.
Perfect. So 5 million active users today will have access to real estate using the infrastructure of Blocksquare. And this is a great benefit to Blocksquare, yet also a great benefit to as an value add to Dua and the community and the communities that will come afterwards, as well as does it have any further utility? Is there any ambition to hopefully connect people further or to do something beyond this?
Oh yeah, let me go deeper into that. So I mentioned before we explored. When I started, we wanted to bring people together. The DuaToken project. So we have announced a few months ago that we are launching our utility token. Why? Um, we saw some issues in the communities we run, and we wanted to solve them. One of them was the huge amount of people that are unbanked. So there are over 1.4 billion people that lack basic financial services, do not have a bank account, and therefore cannot engage with any financial online financial service. We started looking it from a traditional perspective. So we started exploring building a neobank, a fintech, but given the different regulation jurisdictions that you need to be concerned of, that was not an option. And we looked how could blockchain and crypto help us create this solution for our communities. We published our white paper 3 months ago, and we propose an ecosystem that is made of an in-app wallet. So basically, every user that creates a profile into the apps has the possibility to automatically, so they will be prompted to create an in-app wallet. In the moment the user has an in-app wallet, he's free to connect and engage with different DeFi protocols. We believe a lot in user education through gamified elements in the app. So we want to bring that because it can scare a lot of people away when they hear about crypto, in-app wallet, ERC20. I think that's a big issue of the industry right now. We want to bring that as easy as possible to them, and we have proposed a three-tiered ecosystem, which includes a reward system. So basically, every user that will engage with the app daily can get rewarded for specific actions in the apps. The second one would be a DeFi access through the in-app wallet. And the third one would be a decentralized self-sovereign identity solution. So to summarize it, our vision is to build a virtual economy for these underserved communities to engage more and solve their problems in terms of financial inclusion. And one element of that is also getting access to real estate. So how that would work is a user creates a profile through the in-app wallet. He then gets the possibility to select in which real estate deals he would want to get in, and that with a user experience as easy and accessible as possible.
So what you've done here is you're trying to, Elon Musk and his attempt now with Twitter, probably you've done that, or you've attempted that, or started attempting that some time ago. At the same time, what I see here is that you're giving people access to everything, from getting a partner in life to getting access financially to services and getting access to real estate. So in other words, you're trying to create a whole ecosystem where people can be self-sustained within. Yeah, this is what you're trying to do.
So I don't know if you know Balaji. Balaji has a book written that talks about network states. We are trying to build that network state for these fragmented communities, and we are talking about millions of people. There are 300 million migrants today in the world, which is one part of the problem, and then we have all relatives and families that are connected to this diaspora communities. So overall, we're trying to achieve this network state within our apps, where people not just can connect and socialize with each other, but also get access to a new realm of financial services.
Perfect. Dennis, I believe this is huge. Yeah, and here, while Ardit was talking, I was thinking of it's not only the access of the 5 million users and beyond. Again, if they've just started and they have 5 million users, imagine the growth in the future, especially when people discover with time that social media is not so social. So they need to connect and create relationships, and probably they need networks and communities to be able to do that, and then they can interact with real life assets and beyond doing that. Now, I'm thinking of what can this mean to our DAO? What can this mean to our community? Can you please define that in simple terms? What would that mean, Dennis, to Blocksquare's community and DAO, as well as assets and tokenization and everything further beyond that?
Well, I think being able to, as a DAO, being able to offer the infrastructure to a partner that is kind of pulling together 5 million users, or and then growing from that even beyond. I think it's something that is a great point of validation for us. I mean, we've built our infrastructure exactly for enabling such interactions, and I think this will become a very interesting case study for other partnerships that might come later on. But if we kind of focus on Dua, I first was looking at it as a dating app, but then talking with Ardit and the team is like, you get to understand that connecting online with your own community, or the community that you feel more likely and you like to connect, because also of language barriers in the end, right? and cultural barriers. It goes beyond a dating app. It goes into socializing normally with friends and so forth. So it makes a lot of sense that if this app becomes like the central piece of communication within a group of people, that they are able to achieve more things using that app directly instead of requiring to go to some other place as well. And why wouldn't financial services be a part of it? And I hope that with our infrastructure, we can facilitate the part where some projects can emerge from this as a route to easily finance a project back home for diaspora community. And I believe that this interacts or directly intersects with growth of a DAO, which then becomes as well a DAO where under it you have kind of certain communities that have their own initiatives, right? And I see that members of Dua can become just as well members of our DAO and vice versa. Because I'm sure that within our kind of DAO, we have people who are a part of a diaspora and feel the kind of the need of having a social app that can connect them with the people that they feel close to. Makram, you, for
If you're
instance,
part of our
you've been living,
community, if
Makram,
you're
you've been
part of
living
our
in Dubai for
community,
20 years, right?
Dua.com,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah, you've been living in Dubai for what, 20 years, right? But you're
it is, yeah,
Lebanese, right?
yeah.
Which is
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
it's not that far away, but it's still, it's a totally different
It's a
country,
perfect use
right?
case.
Yeah, and
So
100%.
you probably have that understanding, and your wife is Lebanese as well, right?
Yeah, actually, 20-ish years ago, 24 years ago, I had a manager whose name was Azmi Kawas. The guy told me the following. We're chatting about something else at that time, and he told me the marriage as an institution is a very difficult to manage and run and sustain institution. For you to add complexities similar to cultural differences on it, that's why it's important for people to get along. People, it's easier actually, not more important. Probably diversity is great. However, it's easier for people to get along and sustain that with people of their own culture and language, where there's no language barrier, there's no other barriers in play. So 100%, that's a perfect use case because it's much easier to communicate with someone um, who understands how were you brought up and who understands many things and complexities of your thinking. 100%. So
in the end, it comes down to what people really need. So there is a huge demand in the recent years for people within one ethnic background to stay connected with each other, and we are solving and tackling directly that problem.
actually,
Um,
when Ardit
but
said now, when
yeah,
Ardit said there's 300 million immigrants, we have 20 million Lebanese immigrants, so we have like 8% of them. I'm not sure that that's a good thing or bad thing, but you need to target Lebanese community next.
so one quick fact: Spotted, the app that we acquired recently, has a
Mhm.
huge community in Morocco. I mean, it's part of the Arab world, and we have seen a huge growth there. So just to name some numbers, in 1 year we reached there. The app reached there 1 million installs with zero marketing budget. Why? Because Spotted has this really interesting feature that connects people based on their real location. So when you and me have, for example, path cross path somewhere, the app recognizes it and matches it, right? And we have also a feature which every user can produce content there. And in Morocco, it just skyrocketed. 1 million installs within a few months.
Wow.
So we really see a big potential also in the Arab world, in the MENA region, and definitely will come also for the Lebanese. I mean, 20 million
A
is a big
side
number.
question here that's not a side question here that's not so connected to the subject. So you're currently in many countries probably. Which one is the highest growth countries for you? And is it are you seeing a trend like the more conservative countries are, the more growth you are achieving, or no?
So for now, in terms of revenue, we're talking about the DACH area. So Switzerland, Germany, and Austria are performing extremely good. Um, we started with the Albanian community, and traditionally it was discussed that no dating apps in Albania, no dating apps in Kosovo, because of the tradition, right? People would not connect through this platform, but it worked, and the numbers show it. But in terms of revenue, the DACH area is performing
So
really well.
is that Albanians who live in those
Correct. Yes.
countries? Because I
Yes.
don't believe, for example, Germany has a big diaspora. Does it?
No. So we have only one community right now. We started with the
Okay.
Albanian community, but we are
Okay.
adding further communities next year. In our roadmap, we have the plan to introduce a feature which is called "Stay Local or Go Global." That means different communities. We will onboard different communities, and as a user, you will have the chance to either connect within your ethnic community or go global and be mixed with the whole user base, and this will
That's interesting.
change the game a lot. And that's what we are aiming for next Q1.
Perfect. And there's certain countries that are known for immigration, like Canada, for example, or the US. Do you have presence in any of those markets, or are you targeting to have presence on those markets, or are you targeting origination markets mainly? So similar to the Albanian market, or probably the Lebanese market after that, or the Moroccan market, where there is where origination of immigration takes place rather than the end destination.
When we identify which country we want to expand to, we have both sides of the deal. So on one part, if we want to target, let's say, Swiss people, we go and target Switzerland, but also identify in which countries do Swiss live the most. Let's say Germany or Italy or England. So these are the two poles of
Perfect.
the equation.
Perfect. So you've mentioned a whole ecosystem,
Yeah.
and if I want to describe it very simply, it starts by people gathering and communicating and connecting. And again, it may be dating and beyond dating. So it doesn't have to be purely dating. It may be connecting with the community, because I believe that, as Dennis said, they may want to connect for their country or with their country and roots. But then it takes it beyond. So if we want to put like a roadmap, a funnel that this goes through, after people connect, you're allowing them to transact. Now let's talk about transacting and how, and then you're allowing them also access to, similar to real estate with Blocksquare, you're allowing them access to purchase and invest, using, again, using a very simple method which allows them to do it online, digitized, wherever they are in the world. Now, transact. Let's talk about the transact part. What will they transact, and how can they transact? And are you also planning, or do you have in the thinking, a very simple, easy, smooth, soft going money transfer, or money movement solution that you embed within that cycle?
The short answer is yes. So let me take it a bit further. When we talk about fragmented communities, we talk about remittances. We talk about money transfer. And often people that live in diaspora send remittances to their relatives and families back home. But generally, they use traditional channels. Traditional channels could be from banks to money transfer operators. And the hugest pain here is the fees they charge. Sometimes they pay up to 10%, or in Africa you can go up to 20%. So what are we aiming here is to bring this experience within the app with an in-app wallet, embedded wallet that would serve as let's say as a bank account and can be used from these communities to move money from A to B. Of course, with on and off ramps, so that we give the people the chance to convert um, the stable coins that they will be sending to each other. Um, um, the token, our token, is not a good use case for remittances because it's a utility token. So our plan is to integrate the dollar pegged and euro pegged stable coin within this ecosystem and help them transmit money freely P2P from A to B.
And this may save them in the future also currency exchange rate costs whenever the money they send, let's say they send it in a stable coin which is pegged to the dollar or the euro, and that stable coin is usable in its own format on the other side to buy goods and to spend and to consume, then maybe you don't need to go back into dollars or euros to spend and consume. And that may be a good also saving mechanism whenever it comes to currency exchange, isn't it?
Yes, that would be the ultimate goal, actually, to have an on-chain economy that is supported by people, by businesses, and where cryptocurrencies are used and accepted in everyday life. But that takes time. I mean, we are still early stage. We need to give people the options, both alternatives
You've
from
closed your
fiat.
Series A, didn't you, Ardit?
Yes, that's correct. We closed the Series A for 4 million USD from international investors, Swiss and international investors, that will help us expand more into the DACH area, but also other regions in Europe.
Perfect. Dennis, is there any other partnerships? It seems that this is a super interesting partnership. And again, every single time we talk Dua, the first thing that came to mind is how, why, and what. So it's a super interesting partnership that has potential to grow and help us reach way beyond where we are. At the same time, it may get people connected while buying homes and people who are being connected to be able to buy homes. Is there any other partnerships that are as interesting from a business standpoint you see with Dua and with Dua going forward? Is there any other integrations that you see are possible?
Well, there's obviously, a lot of things that we can do with Dua. I think the experience that we have as a company in developing Web3 products as well, not just the use, I would say, of our infrastructure directly, but maybe also products that we built in the past or that we're building right now can come in handy. I believe that this partnership can also offer us an ability to test certain features before they are released on a large enough number of users, so we can have in this collaboration certain things that we can roll out only for Dua in front, certain functionalities that they might require in the future. But directly, I see this as a spark for partnerships that will come directly to us as well, because I see Dua as a source of users for specific marketplaces. So we're talking about the Albanian diaspora, right? Okay, so are there marketplace operators in Albania that can utilize our tech on the other side and structure certain deals for the user base of Dua, right? And I think that the Dua's power here is to be able to also create kind of a framework of due diligence for those partners, saying, you know what, we're going to work with you guys if you follow these steps, because we want to make sure that our users are safely making safe, educated investments through the offers that you are producing here in Albania, right? So we see that this type of relationship will happen, and with every diaspora community that Dua is opening up, this opens up for us a potential to go to a certain market and say, you know what, now Dua is really focusing on the Italian diaspora in the US, for instance, and we want to have marketplaces based in Italy that offer certain investment opportunities. Why not? So I'm just thinking and brainstorming out loud, but I see that there's a lot of potential here through this
So is it fair enough
collaboration
to
that
say
wasn't
now?
that straightforward maybe at the beginning, but it's making more and more sense as we talk right about it.
So is it fair enough now to say if you're in property in Albania, there is a window of 1.2 million downloads, 500,000 users. Did I get the numbers right, Ardit?
100%.
In Albania, ready to look at real estate. So if you're in real estate and you want to make a difference and you want to allow everyone access to get rooted and grounded, regardless of where do they live now in the world and how long have it been, how many generations have they grown outside their main country or their original country, because they may have other passports currently and other citizenships as well. It's your opportunity. There is an opportunity here. And usually when you come to use Blocksquare infrastructure and launch a marketplace and open a market, you launch a marketplace, you have a supply, but you always need demand. And demand is a big challenge. You go and spend so much money and time and effort to get demand. Here, demand is there. So demand is there. You just need to cater to that demand and to cater to the users in a way that adds value to them, because the whole idea is value adding. The most I love about when a group of people sit together and create a utility app similar to what Dua is today and think about the growth, and they really impact markets, and still at an infancy level, because at the same time it's at Series A. So Dua is not a company that has gone all the route. It's just at the start of the journey. They do an acquisition similar to the one that they've done, which grows their reach even more, and they see a strategic benefit in that. So if you're in Morocco as well and you have that opportunity, jump on. And probably many other countries. We should have Julia. We should pass those countries on to Julia, and probably Julia will go and tap into every one of those. Isn't it, Dennis?
Yeah, well, Julia is she's German, for instance. She lives in
Living
Australia
in Australia.
for quite some time, right? And by the way, Julia just told me that she's going to spend a couple of months in Germany, in Europe next year. So, yeah.
Oktoberfest?
I think it's going to be earlier than that. I think it's like something like April or so. But yeah, I think it's when you start thinking of the potential of Dua, I really think it's a great approach to putting people together, and I think it's important to then direct people into good causes. I'm not saying you need to donate money, but I'm saying direct energy. That energy, money is in a way energy, right? You produce it through whatever business you do, and you want to put it to something that earns you additional money, that makes you more money, But at the same time, if it also serves another person, if another purpose, it makes even more sense. So you achieve two things at once. And why wouldn't you invest in real estate in your home country, support the growth of the community there, and at the same time make good investments.
And even if
Definitely.
it's not your home country, yeah, because for example, Albania, I believe, is a young real estate market. Yeah, there is so many opportunities that live there, and probably people from everywhere in the world, pioneer investors, look at that and say, do I want to really invest in a market that's saturated, that have been growing for the last 30 years by ridiculous ridiculous numbers every year, and the money print, the quantitative easing that have been thrown on it have made bubbles grow even beyond they should, way beyond they should? Or shall I go to a frontier market, a market that has just started? If it grows super fast. It has you have a young community, I believe, in Albania. Yeah, you have a young society in general, and
Yes.
yeah, and this
Average 26 to 30 years old.
perfect.
But
So this is the future.
in the end, it's about having access to an asset deal to real estate which wasn't accessible before. So we are talking about let's say Albania, but let's focus on Albania. We will expand. We start in Albania, but let's take this as a use case. It's a young country, right? It was a communist country 30 years ago, and now young people are having a hard time buying their property or getting their first homes, and this kind of tools give them the opportunity to have their first fractionalized real estate, which is not common and unheard. So this is a chance to really bring millions of young people into real estate, an industry which is a trillion, $100 trillion dollars industry global. So I think making that possible to everyone, it's a win-win for, as you mentioned before, for the supply side, but also for the demand side.
So, Ardit, is there anything else you would like to say to our community and to Dua's community, every user and business partners, everyone who is listening to us today?
Of course. Thank you in the beginning for having me here. It was really interesting talking to you. I've been following the Blocksquare community from the social channels, so Discord and Telegram. You guys are doing amazing stuff. Keep that energy high, also in this market conditions. It's about the vision in the end, and we are really happy about this partnership. We have launched our fundraising for the utility token. Everyone that is interested to ask questions or interact with our community, will post our social media channels. You can visit us on dua.com. And other than that, I'll be present in every social media channel. So for every question, you can directly talk with me.
Denis?
Perfect. I'm as I said when we announced the partnership, I'm really excited about the collaboration. I'm excited when we will have, as I'm a hands-on person, so I will love to see things actually happen, and not just be talked about it. And be meeting the team at Dua. I know that that's exactly what the route is. It's not just a discussion of if, but when, and really looking forward to making that connection, because it at the core of Blocksquare vision, it's that real estate is local, and investors in tokenized real estate will come from the local community. But in this case, the local community can actually live hundreds of miles across the globe, and I think it's beautiful.
Making global local.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
That's the new slogan. making global local, so that your coming $100 goes into a property rather than a gadget. This is what we're presenting you with. Yes, it's your coming $100. It used to go into a gadget, which you use for a few weeks or a month. You lose, you forget, you throw, you break. It deteriorates. Today, it can reproduce. Think of it. Ardit, we're very interested to have you, and it has been a great chat. Very simple, direct to the point, and at the same time, I believe you've told us about a cycle which is inspiring, and let's hope that it can be achieved very soon. Thank you so much for being part of our blog chat today. Thank you to Dua for being the partner you are now and you will be in the future. And we'll hopefully work together to grow this partnership and the possibilities way beyond exactly to what Denis have mentioned, what you've mentioned, and we see where can we add value to our community and your users, subscribers, and community as well. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Dua. Thank you for everyone who's watching us today. Regardless if you are a Dua subscriber or user or not, you need to subscribe or try it, test it out. And if you are a member of and a subscriber in Dua, feel free to join us also at blocksquare.com. Sorry, blocksquare.com. That's new, huh?
So it's Blocksquare.io. Maybe it's going to be
you should buy the domain.
An alternative website. So Blocksquare.io. Feel free to join us, join our community, join the energy that we are here with. Again, it's no hype. It's fundamentals that we're working on. Have a good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Ciao.
Bye.